Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today's webinar, Enabling a Digital Data Governance Strategy, Technical and Cultural Change. I'm Katie Mowry, Marketing Manager for Utopia Global, and will be the facilitator for this session. If at any point during the webinar you have a question, please enter it into the question box in the side panel. We will answer as many questions as time allows today, and we'll follow up with you directly via email to answer any additional questions. This webinar will be recorded and available in the resources section of our website at www.utopiainc.com. Today's presenter is Jim Charbonneau, Director of EAM Solutions here at Utopia Global. Jim brings extensive knowledge and business acumen in operations and maintenance, as well as formal training and experience in value engineering, business transformation, and enterprise asset management technology. His unique balance of functional operations and information technology experience includes assessment, strategic planning, design, and delivery of EAM and ERP solution architectures. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to Jim. Welcome.
Thank you, Katie. Good morning and good afternoon. It's great to be able to address you today. The topic of digital governance and digital strategy is a big it's a wide discussion, and everybody in the industry today is talking about their digital strategy. And one thing I believe that is missing from that is that when you develop a strategy, are you thinking about the opportunities to not also improve your business, but also the impacts on your business? Today's topic.
One second, if we're just having an issue seeing your screen. There we go. Thanks, Jim.
Okay. All right. Sorry for the blip. Anyway, in respect to developing a digital strategy, a lot of people just go straight to the strategy, and they look, their motive and their interest is in addressing the onslaught of Internet of Things and the impact on the digital core and the digital wave that is coming upon their organization. So they hurry to come up with a digital strategy to sort of guide them. And what I believe is lost a lot of times is taking a look on what that really means. I mean, you address it from a technical perspective, but do you really focus on the impact of a digital movement on your people? And these people are responsible for security, for monitoring, the progress of profit and operations excellence, whether you're compliant and complying to regulations within your industry, configuration of your physical plant and your operations processes, asset health, parts, and impact on the environment, and most certainly the HR impact on do we have the right people and the amount of people in our enterprise. For today's example, we're going to talk to or look at the asset-intensive industries that are looking at digital strategies. These strategies should be focused on people, process, and the strategy itself. Let's not hurry into the technical right away. With a people focus, in today's example, we're going to talk about enterprise asset management as the domain. It's important to involve people, and you reach out to their asset-intensive industry into your community of practices and talk to them about what they're doing and how they're doing things. One thing I believe, and has worked for me in implementing these types of strategies, is the common understanding that participation breeds commitment. If you involve people in every step of the development of your strategy, development of your business processes, and development of your technologies, they'll respond and they'll enforce the things that they need. If you involve them in design and delivery, it's their system built for them, and they'll understand that. Establishing procedures, that are leading towards continuous improvement. I'm an RCM2 practitioner, reliability-centered maintenance, and it's always about continuing to improve your enterprise asset management. And last but certainly not least, when you think about people, think about succession planning. As people develop competency, they get promoted. As they develop seniority, they leave the company. It's really important when you build a strategy that you're looking ahead and looking at the true age of your organization and build towards that. Involving people will get you results. What I'm going to show you now is an example of a Fiori-based launch pad that was developed with a user committee, had a number of people on the committee, and what was important to them, representing the people, the user communities, is the ergonomics and the look and feel of the page. They came to us and said, we really want role-based activities. We don't want too much clutter on the screen. We don't want everything on the screen. We want what I need as a mechanic or as a technician or as a planner. And the end result of that was a design of a launch pad that contained Fiori-based tiles that were mission-based, 3-click processes, tiles that had visual cues that spoke to the people and said, here's your work, here's your KPIs and measurements, here's the amount of open change requests and different types of things that you're looking at. Here's the integrity. In the middle row, you can see there's a hierarchy, integrity KPI. What are you working towards? What are the goals and expectations? And this design was well received. It was tested and everyone's using it, and the adaptation and the usability and the performance of the transactions is never been better, and everyone's gratified and happy about the commitment to the user interface. When deploying and looking at a digital strategy, process is really important. Now that you've focused on people, let's look at what those people do and map out a number of business scenarios, if not all of them, on a whiteboard or a brown paper in a large project room. Let's look at the scenarios. Let's look at the most mission-critical scenarios and make sure that the operations and the process flows within an organization work, and that these are current state and future state types of processes. The management of change, again, technological and cultural change, you want to estimate and look at what that impact has on your digital strategy, the impact it has on the culture of your organization, and map out what are the critical paths and components of change that are important for you to address. Looking at workflows and process mapping is really critical because it really tells you what you're doing today. If you look at your processes in real time in a real state, you'll get a good visual image of where you are, who's doing what, where, and when. And if you focus on people and you focus on processes, they'll tell you where these bottlenecks are, where the issues are, and they'll help you. Again, participation breeds commitment. They'll help you engineer processes that take you toward your digital strategy. And then certainly not least, when you have sound business rules, make sure that there's a commitment to policy there. Don't just create rules or process flows for the purpose of achieving one end. Make sure that they achieve policy and practice within your organization. This is an example of a process flow and a mapping that we've engineered in an asset-intensive environment for master data governance, for example. So we looked at both the manual operations, the automated operations, and machine learning, things that we're getting from automated systems, data getting pushed into our organization. We understood that the people told us during our people exercise that we don't have data stewards anymore. We don't have database people strictly focused on managing data. So we developed a community of practice in the layer 2 here. You see that there's data specialists, maintenance, reliability, engineering, accounting people. Everybody in the organization has a vested interest in data quality and data process improvement. So we included them in every aspect of the process model, and we learned a lot about who does what and where the expertise and knowledge is in our organization that influences the quality of our data. Early in the year, I published a paper that said, who are our data stewards? And the reality is, we are the data stewards. Everybody that uses the system has a vested interest and knowledge on what is the definition and usefulness of data in your organization. So again, participating breeds commitment. I would focus on people being involved in the definition of quality, integrity, and completeness of your data if you're moving together towards a digital strategy, because the quality of your digital strategy is directly proportionate to the quality of your data. And certainly, as we drive forward to a digital strategy, don't think technology right away. Let's think about components of technology. Let's look at what is a data model and develop a standard data model and work towards data quality every day. So if you're an asset-intensive environment, let's look at your equipment structures. Let's look at your maintenance and work objects, your maintenance planning and your scheduling. Do they really achieve, going back to people, have you listened to the people that say these are the types of equipment structures we need to, from an engineering perspective, achieve the level of maintenance reliability? Do we have the equipment structures in place that allow us to associate maintenance plans and failure modes at the correct level in our equipment and functional location hierarchy? Once you establish a data model that addresses the asset structure and the maintenance planning, you want to look at the data quality. Define the definitions. Everyone thinks they understand what the definition of completeness is, but solicit everybody. What does a good work order look like? What does a good purchase order look like? What data do we really need in our organization to make us effective? And then define what data quality is. Have a very finite and definite definition of what completeness means, what integrity means, what accuracy means in respect to your data quality. And when you do that and you socialize that amongst your different committees and user groups, everyone will understand that the definition of an equipment record, a functional location, a purchase request, an HR record, what is the definition of completeness? And everyone understands it and drives towards it. Developing a data governance model is critical. If you're looking at environments where data changes daily or weekly, or if you're in a merger and acquisition environment, or if you're at an expansion or even a downsizing of your organization, you really want to look at putting together a data governance model. One thing we've experienced in our business is when you do data cleansing, when you explore what data quality is, you learn a lot about what your data quality is, but also you learn a lot about how it got that way. And if you're an organization that has a pretty solid data quality and you're pretty happy about where that is, you should really look at what your success factors were and say, why is that? And then move, those lessons learned and the understanding of your business and move that into a governance model. Because back to the concept that we are the data stewards, what you want to do is create a business organization, a technology environment, business processes that really work towards governance. And governance is not absolute control. Governance is an established method. It says, when we do this, it's reviewed by these people, and the outcome is this. It doesn't have to be absolute control. And if you focus on people, they'll tell you, I need the latitude. I need access to more information. I need to be the person that reviews and approves these types of data records and data quality. So listen to them, involve them, and let them be committed towards the governance model. Now we're going to look at technology. Now that you have a digital strategy, you're working towards one, let's look at what the Internet of Things really means to you. How much of your vendor information, how much of your asset definitions are you connecting to cloud instances for parts? Are you dependent or becoming more focused on industry data standards? Does your data model, is it congruent, compliant to current industry data topologies? Specifically, when it comes to compliance, do you have all the right data components in your data model and in your data governance processes to make sure that the data that you're creating and the transactions that you're churning out are keeping you compliant to the things that are important to your industry? And certainly make a commitment. The final step of the strategy is make that commitment to your digital strategy enable your people, involve people, look at the business processes, change what you need to change, understand what that change does, and things like that. When you have a funded commitment to digital, then you'll be able to upgrade the technologies, move to more mobile tool sets, maybe work towards an absolute cloud-based environment where you're connecting through cloud to vendor environments to sources of knowledge and truth within your industry. Make that commitment and back it up with business plans, back it up with business cases. Again, go back into your business processes and look for the value drivers within those processes. This is an example of something we're working on in the SAP world, is where we have cloud-based tool sets and focus on equipment registry, where we're connecting to business partner networks, where we have extensive use of model databases and machine records, where the IoT is generating information at the machine level, and we're consuming and absorbing that into our organization. If you spin around this cloud, you look at the different visual tools, specifications for work, bulletins, quality, equipment performance, process performance. If you look around this cloud at these different squares, you'll recognize things within your industry and within your business, more specifically within your role, that tell you that you need to be involved in the governance and design of data quality. If you're looking at a data strategy, it's important to really understand what the components, the digital things that you want. And this is the Internet of Things. Understand what those things are, where they fit in each one of these boxes, and try and understand why they're important to your people and how they get access to this. So let's review very quickly before we take questions. What did we learn today about digital strategy? Number one, in terms of people, the singular message is participation breeds commitment. If you involve everyone in the process, it doesn't have to be everybody, but a good representation of the different pieces and parts of your business. Involve people, and they'll be committed to the direction that you're taking them. Look at the business processes and the technical processing that's going around your business. Establish and look at scenarios. Understand what the impact is in respect to management of change. Look at the technical change. What does that mean? What is the cultural change? How much do we really have to change the way people do things and the way they think to achieve this digital strategy? And support that by policy. If you're going to make changes and you're going to be committed to change, understand what that is. And then finally, your digital strategy, make sure it's supported by a solid data model, definitions of data quality. Put a governance process around what you find to be important. Technical integration, make sure you've got the technical pieces. If you're working with cloud-based instances or legacy systems or machine learning, make sure those connections and the technology supporting those connections are solid, and that you have a funded commitment to your digital strategy. Katie, I'm ready for questions.
All right, so I'd like to jump into just a couple questions from the group. The first one is, what is a common roadblock you've seen when trying to implement a data governance strategy?
Well, I think it comes down to people. If you're looking at a fresh look at your organization, take the time to really understand where the sources of expert knowledge are. A lot of times we're seeing organizations where data analysts and planners particularly were the center of focus. And if those people, those positions have been eliminated, or those people in those jobs have retired, there's a lot of knowledge leaving the building. So it's really important to, from a knowledge worker paradigm, understand where the bits of expert knowledge is and weave that into your governance strategy to mitigate your risk and understand, how to build a model that helps you keep that knowledge within your organization.
Okay, and the next question is, my company knows we need to create a long-term digital strategy, but things pop up and it becomes less of a priority in favor of other things that we need to do for the short term. How do you recommend we kick that habit internally?
Well, I guess it comes down to the commitment to funding. It's everybody's job to be involved in the daily task of keeping the lights on. So it's really important to put one or two resources aside and really stick to it in terms of digital strategy, or you'll never get there. So do the best you can, and funding, staff augmenting. Make sure you've got one or two people associated to that strategy development, and keep them on the job as long as you possibly can.
All right. We are just about out of time. If you have any additional questions that you would like to send in, please email me at kmowery@utopiainc.com. My email address is up on the screen, and we'll email you directly back with answers to those questions. Jim, thank you for joining today, and we really appreciate everyone attending this webinar.
Thanks. Good day.